Hello, are you a musician? Are you a music student perhaps? Now, wouldn't it be fantastic to just know that every time you went out and played, you could play at your absolute best on every single gig? Perhaps all you want is a bit more self-confidence, a bit of stage presence, a bit more charisma when you perform. Or perhaps the one thing you're after is the ability to focus on your practice so that when you practice you achieve 10 times as much in half the time. Now, I'm here today to tell you about the Musician's Hypnosis iPhone app, which can help you to achieve all of these things and a whole lot more. But don't take my word for it. Go to the website, check out the comments page. I've had some fantastic feedback from professionals, amateurs, teachers, students, people that are already out there using this iPhone app and getting some fantastic results. So do go and read the comments page. So how does it work? Well, first of all, when you go to the website, you can download and listen to the free audio lecture, which is going to tell you pretty much everything you need to know. But for now, I can give you a few bits of information that are going to help you to understand what's going on. The first thing you need to know is that the conscious mind can only hold half a dozen things at any one time. Everything else that your mind and body experience is kept at the unconscious level. And being able to understand that there's a conscious mind and an unconscious mind and how they work together, that's going to help you to understand how trance works. Now, trance, I don't particularly like that word either because it has various connotations which are erroneous. They're not right. These have been dreamt up by people who write trashy novels. The good thing about trance is that it's completely safe and it's an everyday occurrence. You pass through trance every time you go to sleep, and you also pass through trance when you're waking up in the morning. One is called the hypnagogic state, the other is called the hypnopompic state. I can't remember which is which, and it doesn't really matter anyway. The fact is that trance is an everyday state. You probably remember when you were in geography lessons at school, you'd just gaze out of a window in a bit of a daydream until the teacher mentioned your name and you'd jump yourself out of it. Sorry, sir, I was miles away. Well, yes, you were, because that's trance. Another example of trance would be when you go to the movies and you get very, very focused on the movie. You're just focused on that one thing. And this is the essence of trance. It's being focused on one thing. And something very interesting and very useful happens when you get into this very daydreamy state. And that is that the part of your mind that's your sort of logical, critical, analytical kind of mind, that gets switched on to standby. When that part of your mind's on standby, everything that you hear is still going in through your ears, but it's going straight to your unconscious mind without being critiqued by your logical mind, if you like. So it's rather like having a broadband cable going straight into your unconscious mind. Now, when you listen to the lecture, you'll understand why the unconscious mind only accepts the things that it really likes the sound of. It's as though it has its own little guardian angel thing going on in there, which is really cool. So it's completely safe and it's incredibly beneficial. If the unconscious mind hears something that it likes the sound of, it will take it on board. The unconscious mind is where your habits and all your self-beliefs are. And this is a way that we can use this very natural, everyday state of daydream in order to reprogram ourselves with some new beliefs that are going to take us places. So the next thing we need to do is to have a look at the iPhone app and the interface and see how it works. Every hypnosis session consists of 4 basic sections. The first section is called the Induction, and that just relaxes you physically. The second section is called a Deepener, and that uses a little bit of visualization just to help you to relax mentally as well. Thirdly, you have the Suggestion. That's where all the change work is done, if you like. And lastly, you have an Awakening. Now, I don't particularly like the term awakening because it implies that you've been asleep, and you certainly haven't been asleep. You've just been very, very relaxed. So I don't like that term. I tend to call it the outro. So those are the 4 sections. Let's see how the Musician's Hypnosis app puts all this together for you. In the app, we've got 3 inductions: long, medium and short. Use the long induction for the first few times and then progress to the medium and the short one when you've got used to going into trance. You know what the feelings are going to be like, so therefore you can save yourself a little bit of time by using the other 2 inductions. The next thing you'd choose would be one of the 3 deepeners. We've got the real classic where you're visualizing going down some steps. That's very powerful. The next one is called the ruler, and here you visualize a ruler and you can regulate your own level of trance. So that's a very useful mental skill to develop using that track. The last deepener is a recording studio scenario, something you're probably familiar with. You move the faders on the mixing desk up and down, you drift off into a nice deep trance. It's a lot of fun, it's very powerful. I think you're really going to like that one. So, having set your induction and deepener, you can now choose from one of the 3 background sounds. There's a music track which has a binaural beat encoded into it. If you think that you're going to find it difficult to go into trance, then that's a good one to start with. The other 2 are sound effects based, very relaxing, great to chill out to. I think you'll find those very powerful as well. The next option is to turn the subliminal messages off. Now, some people seem to think that with subliminal messages, somehow I'm going to be able to get them to send me £50 a week or something. Sadly, that's not going to happen. If you want to read what the subliminal messages are that are encoded into the background of the app here, then go to the website. They're all listed there, every single one of them, and you can read through and see what fantastic suggestions they are. And these go straight to your unconscious mind, and that's what makes this such a powerful app. The next thing to do would be to choose from one of the many suggestion tracks. Let's have a look and see what we've got here. The first one up is announcements. Now, if you've got a bit of a public speaking issue, if you're not very confident on the mic, then that's a particularly good one for you. The next one up is auditions. Now, I can't promise that you're going to pass an audition if you use this track, but on the other hand, I can ensure that you're going to go into the audition feeling really confident, really strong, well prepared, and you're going to put on a really good show. The next one, confidence. Now, this isn't specifically for musicians, this is for anybody. So if you want to lend someone the app, let them have a go with it. This would be a good track. It's a general feel-good, self-esteem boosting track. A very nice, easy track to use. The next one, creativity. Now, you might be writing film scores, you might be a singer-songwriter, you could be improvising like John Coltrane. Whatever your outlet for creativity is, this track gives it a huge boost, and you'll find those ideas are flowing like they never have before after using this track. The next track up, exams. This is a little bit like the auditions track. It just gets you into the perfect state to go in and do a really, really good show. The next one, lyrics. Now, you're not going to forget the words to Happy Birthday, are you? So there's a mechanism that you've already been using to remember lyrics. What this does is it amplifies that skill so that you can use the same techniques in your mind for remembering every single tune in your database. Okay, next one, pitch and tuning. Quite often people say that it's when they start to think about their tuning, am I a bit sharp, am I a bit flat? That's when actually their tuning starts to yo-yo and they don't know where they are. Trust the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind knows what it feels like to be absolutely in tune, and what this track on the app does, it helps to silence that little devil on your shoulder that's telling you, oh, I'm too flat, I'm too sharp. The next track up is the pre-gig Pep Talk, and this one has produced some of the greatest performances ever. It's a fantastically powerful track. I've had some of the most amazing feedback about this track in particular. You'll love it. You're going to play out of your skin having used this before a gig. The next track, Question. Well, there are always times when we have decisions to make. Perhaps they're decisions about your career, or perhaps they're just simple choices, like, you know, should I buy the Stratocaster or the Telecaster? Whatever your decisions are, if you're in two minds, then use this track, and very soon afterwards, perhaps later that day or the following morning, you'll just realize that you feel differently about the decision. It's a no-brainer. Of course I should do X, whatever it is. It helps you to sort things out if you're in a bit of a quandary. A very, very powerful track, and that's saved careers, that track has. Okay, reading. Already you can read the written word. All this does is it takes that skill and piggybacks music reading onto it. What's reading? It's just turning squiggles of ink on paper into sound, and basically that's what you do when you read music, isn't it? So therefore there's already a neural network in there which we can use, and we can harness the skills that you already have. Use this track, you're going to start to read more and more and more fluently because you're familiar with the whole process. The next one up, rhythm and timekeeping. This isn't just for drummers, this is for bass players, guitarists. In fact, this is for everybody. To be honest, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. You've got a groove. Groove is all about time, placing the notes in exactly the right place. That's what this track will do for you. Okay, the next one, Stage Fright. Now, this is what people have been after for many, many years. Here it is on the Musician's Hypnosis app. Stage fright is all about balancing that level of adrenaline. If you've got too much of it in your system, then that's when you get the shakes and you get the pounding heart. And the level of adrenaline is all regulated by what's going on up in here. So using hypnosis, we can balance the level of adrenaline, the level of relaxation, the level of focus, and it's going to help you to put on a really good, strong performance without getting the butterflies. The next track, Turbo Practice. Now, I expect you've played on your computer games, and you'll play for what feels like about 5 minutes. In fact, it's been an hour. Now, wouldn't it be great if, when you do your music practice, you could get into that same zone? You can focus yourself on your practice really, really deeply, and you'll look up and you'll see, oh my goodness me, I've been here an hour and it only felt like 5 minutes. Well, that's very much what happens here. Your practice time will get condensed, and it'll be very, very powerful practice, and it will feel easy, and it will feel like it's happening in half the time. So a very, very important and powerful and valuable track, I'm sure you'll agree. The next one is the visualization track. Now, I'm sure you've seen people that you idolize on video, YouTube, DVDs. What this track does, it uses an NLP technique to enable you to, it's almost like you're stepping into these people and wearing them as if they were a wetsuit around you, and you look through their eyes and you feel with their body and you hear with their ears, and this is the way that you learn and you model from your idols, and it gets you to where you want to be a lot quicker than it would be if you just practice the same old way. So a very, very powerful track. So that wraps it up for the suggestions. The next thing you do is pop your headphones on, press start, and off you go. Now, there's one last feature on the app here. That's this little information tab here. If you click on there, you'll see that there's some stuff to read there. There's some links. Give that a read. Very interesting stuff. Also, there's a podcast there. So if you want to learn a bit more and perhaps you want to listen to it in the car, that's fine. Listen to it while you're driving. Interesting stuff, all of it. So that's it, the Musician's Hypnosis iPhone app. Give it a spin, tell all your friends about it, and please email me, tell me all the results you're getting from this, because it's really fabulous getting all the great feedback. And thank you very much for listening. I hope you really, really enjoy the app.